Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody?
Body.
Yeah. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the 82nd episode of the In Your Face.
Your face.
Come on. There we go. There we go. There we go. We got to work it.
I am your
In Your Face
co-host,
show.
Nakia.
And this is my co-host, Nakia Bryant. And this
Okay.
is the awesome, awesome brother man, you know, the smooth criminal himself, Mr. John Demakas. What's
Hi
up,
there.
brother?
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're always welcome.
Yeah.
So introduce yourself, my brother. Introduce yourself.
Well, again, my name is John Demakas. I'm an actor, voiceover artist. I also work with a casting company called Casting Calls America, which helps a lot of actors across the country on in major film markets to connect with roles and get started in the acting business, which is a huge benefit. A lot of people don't know that if you don't live in Los Angeles or New York, that you can still get into the entertainment business, and it's a step on the path. And a lot of people will tell you they don't know how to start. Here's your entrance into it. Castingcallsamerica.com. It's a great way to start and find stuff locally in your area. But
Okay.
for
And
me,
What?
go ahead.
so growing up, had you always wanted to do some sort of
Tell her
film
I
work
got a
or
show.
become an
I'll be back
actor?
now.
I actually did a lot of plays and things in school. In high school, I was very involved in our drama department. And in fact, those folks are still friends of mine to this day. We still meet up and talk about the old drama days back in high school. And I was a pretty practical guy, and I thought there's no way in the world I would ever end up in the entertainment industry. Just no way. I thought that that was, a dream too far. And I went out and I started working at different businesses, trying to get ahead. And then I just found that I was being drawn back, which
Right.
was extremely unexpected. And I thought, well, voiceover is something I was always interested in. Maybe I'll get into voiceover. And you can do that from home. You don't even need to leave anymore. You used to have to go to a studio. Now you can do it from your closet. And
Right.
so I started looking into that, and I found that I started getting requests to come in for acting roles, and I kept saying no. That's not what I was interested in. And strangely enough, my ex-wife told me, she goes, "What are you afraid of? You've done this before. Why don't you go do it? Why don't you see if this is where you need to be?" And I thought, you know what? Why not? And so I ended up going down for a role in a upcoming pilot, and I got the role. They brought me in, and primarily because they loved my drive. It wasn't necessarily that they actually had a role for me. They actually invented a role in the show because they didn't want to lose me, which was
Oh,
wild. And so I ended up on the writing staff. I ended up writing the theme song for the show. It unfortunately didn't go anywhere, but it was a great welcome back to the industry. And so then I started putting myself out there more and trying things that I'd never done before, and found that this is really something that is going to be part of my life forever. And I one of the biggest things that I realized during this journey is whenever you have an opportunity, say yes. You don't know where it's going to lead. Uh,
right.
a really good example of that is there's a casting director that I saw was looking for somebody to come in and work as part of her crew. And I said, well, I'm free. I'm happy to do that. And she said, you're not, you're so overqualified for this. This is just a crew job. It's a small, small little job for us. And I said, it doesn't matter. I have the time. Let me come work with you.
Right.
And so she said, okay, it's going to be like 8 hours. Well, after the 12th hour, she said, I can't ask you to come back. You're not getting paid. Please, just, I'm
Right.
sorry it's taking this long. I said, no, I'm happy to come back. I have the time. I want to be on set. There's nothing like being on set. And so I said, I'll tell you what, I won't come in tomorrow morning, but when you need me, you call me and I'll be there.
Right.
By noon, she called me. She said, can I just bring you on as a paid crew member? And I said, sure. So I went from not being part of the project at all to being an unpaid crew member to being a paid crew member in 24 hours. And I remember a friend of mine said, why are you doing this? And I said, you know what? I'm going to work with these people to the point that they want me on their crew all the time. And eventually they're going to cast me in one of their movies. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
So by the third film, I was a cast member.
Was it a role that you had always desired, or you just took it because this is what you love to do?
I really tend to get mob boss roles, criminal roles, because I can be a scary guy. I look a little on the scary side when I want to be. And the role that they had offered me was a comedy role. And it was something that I didn't really believe that I would be a good fit for. But I did some research. I got into the character and I went in and auditioned for it. And they said, my God, you killed it.
Yeah.
Right.
You are the guy. And I ended up in the trailer and it was
Right.
Okay.
it was one of those things that, again, you push yourself to do things that you didn't think you could do, but found out you could. And that's part of this industry. I mean, we're doing things that we wouldn't normally do. We're playing characters we would not normally be. And if you don't try, you will not succeed. The answer will always be no.
Right.
So I got a question. So how do you prepare for the roles that you get?
Well, for that particular role, that was a very odd one. It was in a movie called Ballbuster with oh my goodness, now his name is escaped me from Stand By Me. Jerry O'Connell, he was the star of that one, and I had a great scene with him. My character was a TSA agent with Tourette's.
Oh wow.
So
how'd that work out?
It was hysterical. It was a very small role, but it was something that I had fun with. And being on set, I had to research Tourette's. I had to look up, what that entailed, and I had to have facial tics and things. And even the casting director said, you pulled that off so well. That if I didn't know you, I would have thought that was part of your personality, that you that was part of you. And you really have to throw yourself into it. Do the things that you would not normally do because you are playing a character. And when I actually got on set and I was working with Jerry, after the first scene, he goes, "Oh my God, that was so funny. You are hysterical." And I'm like, "Well, thank you." And what a great compliment from a star like him.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what was it like, doing a movie like Jackson Bolt?
Yeah, I just saw a comment from Robert too.
Yeah, it was great working with Robert. I had a really good time. That was a lot of people working on that project, and it was a fun experience. And again, going in, I was playing a big scary hitman, and it was a lot of fun. There was one woman on the set that right when my character walks in, I come right up to her and I'm a group of like 5 or 6 guys and we're trying to intimidate these people and scare the hell out of them and try to get the information we want. And when we cut after that first take, one of the other actresses came over and said, "You need to go talk to that girl. You scared the hell out of her."
Oh, no.
I said, "I swear I'm a really nice guy."
Right. Now you have to buy everybody lunch. Right?
Yeah, right?
I swear I'm a nice guy.
So what was your pivotal roles that you've played?
I've been in a lot of films. I want to say that in comedy, we actually did a short film a few years ago where I actually played Frankenstein. It was a comedy short. It was an 8-minute film called "You're a Monster," and that role, I thought we had such a great script, such a great cast. We ended up winning 2 awards at the Sacramento Film and Music Festival that year. We got the Audience Choice Award and the best film award, and that was one of those things when you see people who really appreciate what you do, and you can stand in front of that crowd and listen to them, loving your work. What an amazing experience that was.
Right.
That was comedy wise. That was one. I had an opportunity to play a mob boss in a film called Finn and Marco, which was so much fun. I was the just big jerk in that movie, and I was killing people and kidnapping people, and in the end, I do get mine. And again, had such a great group of people, a lot of them friends of mine to this day. Such a fun experience to play that role. And again, scary guy, mob boss tends to be my roles.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So how many years you been in the industry?
I've been in the industry for about, I want to say, 7 to 8 years now.
Oh wow.
And I had started, very small and just slowly worked my way up. When I decided that this was something that I wanted to do, I really put myself out there, took every opportunity to get into every project that I could, meet as many people as I could, and I've really enjoyed every minute of it and the people that I've met and watching them succeed as well. Watching people that I've worked with that I remember being on one of their first projects and now watching them accept awards at different film festivals around the country and around the world as well. Really been an incredible experience. Um, when you get to see your friends succeed, I mean, what an amazing experience. I've really enjoyed that. When I started, what was that, 2014, I guess it was. I was just happy to be there and experience being on set. And again, I was taking any project that I could, trying to learn as much as I could and get the skill set together so I could get into bigger projects. And then there comes a point where you realize, you know what, I'm a professional actor now, and I need to stop doing the freebie stuff. I need to be getting paid for the work that I'm doing, and um, I need to push myself for bigger projects and step outside of my comfort zone. And when you get to that point, you do find that some people don't call you anymore because they're not willing to pay you for what you're doing. But if you're a
No,
professional,
please.
there needs to be a point.
Hmm.
And I was moving forward to get my SAG membership, which I did. I ended up working with a really talented group of people, and we shot our own film, and we were able to get everybody SAG eligibility through that. And some of us have joined and entered into a new realm, a
Right.
new group of people, because once you join SAG, you're not supposed to work for any non-union projects anymore. And unfortunately, I've had to turn down a lot of work. People that I've worked with in the past that I really enjoyed working with, but their projects weren't part of the Screen Actors Guild, and so I have to say no, which is a hard thing to do sometimes, especially when you don't have a project you're working on and you want to work.
Right.
I was somebody who, when I got into this, went from doing one project every month or every 2 months to I got to a point where I was doing 2 to 3 a week.
Okay.
And I was really putting myself out there and spending a lot of time doing this and working with incredible people. And then when you join SAG, a lot of that work goes away because now you're having to deal with the union jobs, and they're a lot fewer, especially in Northern California, which is where I'm at. But if you're not willing to do the work to get down to LA and work on those projects, you're not going to work. There's pretty much mostly background roles in Northern California. There are some supporting roles and lead roles. I'm not going to say there aren't, but for the most part, it's primarily background work, which is fine. There's a lot of people that I know who love doing background work. They do it all the time, and that's become a part of their life, and they're making a lot of money at it. Good for them. But I would prefer supporting roles, and a lot of that I do have to go down to LA for, and I frequently do that. Right now, I've got auditions that I'm trying to complete this weekend, one in Atlanta, one in Las Vegas. So, there's work all over the country, not just in Los Angeles.
I have a question. Have you ever received a script that had a little too much sensitive material in it that made you think twice about, knowing that you wanted to work, but the material was far too sensitive to do for you?
Yeah, I have had, and for various reasons, actually. I had one project that I was working on, and they were very into graphic sex, and it wasn't something that I really wanted to be a part of. And, if you do, if that's something that, you as an actor or actress are interested in doing, hey, I'm not going to tell you it's wrong. It just wasn't right for me. And then I had another project, which was it was an off-Broadway play back in New York, and I was helping write the music for it. And the more that I discussed the project with the producers, I found that they were really kind of crossing the line in making fun of people's religions, and I didn't think it was appropriate. And so I stepped back. I said, I think you need to find somebody else.
Right.
And I would have loved to have been part of the project, but unfortunately, it wasn't for me.
True. Hey, I mean, some roles that conflict with your morals and values.
Yes,
mean?
Exactly.
I understand that. So what are what are the biggest countries that you've been to do movies?
I've really only worked in the United States currently. I'm open to going anywhere, but when the opportunity arises, I have passport in hand.
Yeah.
Right. I feel what you said, man. I feel what you're saying. So
I've seen plenty of projects out there, just they haven't materialized.
So what's your ideal role to play?
There are certain roles that I would love an opportunity to play. I had one opportunity on a short film to play a Catholic priest, and I really didn't get an opportunity to really have a good role as that. They ended up cutting the majority of it out. So I would really like an opportunity to play a priest again. That would be great. I've played mob bosses. I've played thugs. I've played mafia mafia underlings. What else do I really? I mean, there's so many things out there. I've yet to really play the average father, strangely enough, like the good guy, maybe a college professor, something like that. I don't get a lot of those types of roles. The nice next door neighbor, I'm not getting those. It's always the scary guy.
Well, you have this smile in your headshot.
Yeah, well, I have pretty good headshots with nice smiles. I just
nice smile.
The angry looking one.
To me too. You actually have the figure, the face that can actually pull off the Cable character from Marvel.
Okay.
If
they give me a call, I will accept.
Yeah, man. Like I'm telling you, if you look at Cable and you see yourself, you have the resemblance to him.
Awesome.
To do that character. Yeah. I mean, because if it's like it's a lot of characters that embody those characters, but they don't know those type of characters, and they like when they really actually get into it, they're like they was made for this character. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
And like for example, like we were just talking about last night. You know what I mean? When you saw that big dude Mountain, right? And when you saw Braun Strowman, you said these guys are made for Jarhead. You got
Oh
to
yeah,
cast them. Yeah, and
absolutely.
that's what I'm
Yeah, the
saying.
first one
Like
that hit me was Braun Strowman. I mean, he would look like a perfect jarhead.
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Exactly. That it was these characters are made for these roles. And if
yeah.
you really look at it, like a lot of the characters that you see, like for example, okay, uh, Wesley Snipes, he was made for Blade.
Oh,
Made for
absolutely.
Oh
Blade,
yeah.
man. He was made for it, man.
Yeah.
Right,
Made
right.
for it. Like, for example, okay, another character. Oh man, what's his name? What's his name? Have you ever seen a movie called damn, it's escaped my mind. You know what I mean? What? Anyway, if it come back to me.
Yeah.
What? What movies y'all think? What characters fit in y'all think?
I'm sorry.
What characters do y'all fit in movie? What characters y'all think fit in the movies?
What do
Characters,
I
roles.
fit in a movie?
No, what? Sorry, damn. Wow, I stutter. What characters do y'all think fit in roles
Oh,
that were
okay.
born for them?
Yeah. Well,
Sorry for stuttering. My fault. Sorry about that.
I look at Tom Selleck when he's in Blue Bloods, and that I can't imagine anybody else playing that role. He's an amazing actor as it is, and to see him in Blue Bloods, granted TV show, not a film, but I can't imagine another person playing that role. He embodies that character. Um, I'm a big Michael Keaton fan as Batman.
Oh, the
Yeah.
absolute
I
best.
I love
Yeah,
I love some of the other actors who played Batman.
yeah.
It's always Michael Keaton for me. Just can't see
Yeah.
anybody
The
else, you know?
best Joker too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jack
Oh
Nicholson.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the
Like.
funny thing was, I remember going to see that movie in the theater, and I was not excited about it because I'm a huge Batman fan, and I couldn't get my head out of 60s Batman with Adam West and
Oh yeah.
Cesar Romero as the Joker. I couldn't see it. And as soon as Jack Nicholson came on the screen, I'm like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, it was a game changer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It's
it was
like it's
it was
like
so amazing.
Yeah.
it's like Holly Berry playing Storm in the
Hmm.
Yeah.
first
Yeah, yeah.
X-Men game movie.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, like okay, who do y'all think would be the best Wolverine?
Best
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Oh, why did you say that name? I told you I cried like a baby at the movie theater when I watched Logan. I had people looking at me from the left and the right, like, why is she crying? Why did someone get her a tissue? Yeah, so Wolverine, who's the character would you like to see do Wolverine?
I would like Tom Hardy, man.
I could see that. I mean, I like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I like Hugh
Hugh
Jackman
Jackman,
too.
Yeah,
You know,
it's hard to see past him, as Wolverine.
yeah,
He did such an amazing job.
yeah, and eventually he's going to retire.
For sure. Yeah.
But if you really look at it, like when you look at the character Wolverine, he's a puny little guy. Like he's like I want to say he's like 4'8" or something like that.
oh
He's real
wow,
short and he's a midget. And uh hold
he's a
up,
little person.
yeah, Hugh Jackman is like 6'3", and when they casted him as Wolverine, you would think like because what the original Wolverine is bulky and built, and he's short. He's shorter than the Leprechaun.
Okay.
That's how short he is.
Mhm.
And but if you look at it, you'll be like, huh, why is they putting a tall guy as Wolverine? But I guess people will be like, well, it's movies. Well, not because
Right.
when you look at comics, when you look at it, when a comic book creator that
Yeah.
created those characters, look at that kind of like takes away the taste of what we saw in our childhood and what we
Mhm.
actual draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
and
for
that's
example,
just like my
Yeah.
experience with Batman. I couldn't get away from what I pictured Batman as.
exactly,
Yeah, I get it.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's like,
Right.
you know, for example, okay, like a character. I don't know if y'all remember this character, man. I don't know if y'all remember
Uh-oh.
this character.
All right.
Like for example, She-Hulk. Who
Oh
was
yeah.
any characters that y'all think, any person that y'all think could pull off the She-Hulk?
But what about She-Ra? Remember She-Ra?
Oh
She-Ra,
yeah,
She-Ra,
She-Ra
yeah,
from
She-Ra,
He-Man.
Yeah, She-Ra.
yeah.
Well,
Like Xena from Hercules.
Right.
You know, because if you really want to be technical, right?
mhm,
All you got to do is pick a female bodybuilder. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? That could play that has the body of She-Hulk, right? But teach them acting skills, give them some skills, and teach them up and everything, and put the actual makeup of what She-Hulk is made look like, and then you got your She-Hulk. There you
Well,
go.
yeah. I mean, there's some amazing female bodybuilders out there too today.
Exactly.
You go
Right.
back to like the 70s, and they didn't have the number of people doing that for a living as they do today. And yeah, I mean, there's so many people who could pull that off. I'm sure. I mean, I remember years ago thinking that China from WWE would be an amazing She-Hulk.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
She's not
She
with
could pull
us
that
anymore.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah. She died from
Yeah.
drug overdose
yeah.
of doing drugs and
And
everything.
she would have been an amazing uh, superhero character, no question.
Like, oh, for example, did y'all know that Jamie Foxx was supposed to play Mike Tyson?
No,
Yeah.
I thought he
The,
did already.
did
no,
he?
he actually Mike Tyson him and like actually he's not portraying Mike Tyson no more.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
There's another character. There's a guy that's going to portray as Mike Tyson now.
hmm
But did you know that the on Zulu actually that the biopic that they have up on Zulu that's not supposed to be up. That's not even that's not, Mike Tyson said that's not even my life like that. That's
Oh,
they stole it.
uh-oh.
You know what I mean? And he said like if you look at the part where Mike Tyson is young. He kind of looks like Mike Tyson, but if you go all the way back to where Mike Tyson had the tribal tattoo on his face,
right.
and they messed up that whole makeup look, and
Mm,
it looked like clay on his face.
Yeah, sometimes they don't get it right, right?
that's true.
But I have a question. Do you find yourself watching more television series and shows these days or more movies? Whether it's streaming or at the box office theater. Are you at home watching more TV or are you out at the movies now?
I, you know, it's funny. I was telling a friend of mine years ago, if you went to a movie that they said, well, hey, we've got 8 hours worth of footage. You'd
Mhm.
go, there's no way I'd go see a movie for 8 hours, but I'll sit in my living room and I'll watch eight
Right.
hours straight of some show. No question. And
Right.
yeah, right now I'm finding that I'm watching a lot of series, and it's all over the place. I'm watching. I watched a show from Ireland called Dairy Girls that was hilarious. I loved everything about that until the last episode. Wasn't a big fan of the last episode. Really looking forward to Yellowstone, which starts again tonight.
Yep.
Uh,
I
if I
watch
went
that.
without my girlfriend today, she will kill me. Love Yellowstone. Trying to think what I just saw this week. A show on Netflix called Inside Man, which was fantastic. I'm a big David Tennant fan,
Mhm.
who played Doctor Who, and he was amazing in that show. I really encourage everybody to see that. It's a story about how you're talking to people who are in prison, and this one person who's in there for killing his wife, he's the main character, and he's trying to help solve other murders. How anybody put in a bad situation has the ability to become a killer.
Right.
was such a bizarre start to the show. And as you're watching the show, you're like, wow, there's no way for this guy to get out of killing this woman by the end of the show. It was amazing. I really enjoyed the show.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's some series out there that okay, okay. What series that you really love that are out today? Series that are out today.
Today, definitely Yellowstone. In fact, I'd love to be part of it. Anybody wants to cast me?
Right. Me too then. I mean, Michael Keaton is just such a versatile actor, yeah, that's a good role for him.
I mean, I think the last which movie that he came back as Batman? I forget which movie that
Those were
was.
the Justice League. You're talking about
Oh
the
shit.
Justice League? He
Yeah,
was the
where he came.
father.
He was going to do Batgirl that got canceled. I think he was
Oh,
reprising his Batman role in that, and then they canceled the movie and they scrapped it. But
oh,
I
okay,
would
okay,
love to
okay.
see the footage of him coming back as Batman for that one.
Well, I mean, I think that a lot of the movies that you see today, I think they could just use like 3D models as
Yeah.
Batman, or what I'm saying, just how high tech movies are today.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you really, those big monsters that you have to that you see in movies nowadays, don't you know that they use 3D models and 3D? Some of those are
Oh, some
3D
of those are
design.
yeah, CGI models. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, like did you know that in you remember the movie not Jaws, Deep Blue Sea?
Never
Which
seen that
one?
one.
The one with LL
Well,
Cool J?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All those sharks. Well, I want to say like five out of those all those sharks were robots.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Cause shark,
yeah,
you can't tame a real shark.
yeah, yeah. Like
You
it's
can't
crazy.
tame them. They just do what they do.
And sometimes the fake sharks don't work well either. You can ask Steven Spielberg from Jaws. He said
What
that
happened?
shark model never worked right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, oh man, like, see, that's what I'm saying. You put so much money into
So
it,
much
and then
money,
it's not
yeah.
working.
Yeah, like so much
Yeah.
money.
But yeah, so man, like, what role that you felt helped you take off? Like, what role do you think took off your acting
Well,
career?
I think um, that the role that I did have that I was telling you about earlier in Ballbuster, I think is as a TSA agent with Tourette's, a comedy role, it just opened a new door for me, which is great. Because you can do the same thing over and over and over again, then nobody will look at you for anything else. And so the ability to open that door and say, "Hey, I can do comedy," and I followed that up not too soon after with the You're a Monster role that we ended up getting some awards for, and exploring more comedy. I think that was a good move for me. And I'm hoping that in the future I'll be able to get into some of those types of roles again.
Is there
Awesome,
a role
awesome,
that
awesome.
you auditioned for that you didn't get that you really, really wished you got?
I'll tell you, actually, let me make a change to that question. There was one role that I did audition for, and it was in an episode of Criminal Minds, and it was for a police officer, and I was really heartbroken that I didn't get that because Criminal Minds is such an awesome show.
Right.
And I ended up watching the show later on. It took about a year for me to finally get an opportunity to watch the episode. And I thought, that wasn't a role for me. And I think I was happy that I didn't get that one. Which is kind of a bizarre thing to say, but it would not have been a good fit. And I was hoping that it was. And at the end of the day, it really wasn't. And they made the right choice not casting me. And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
something that you don't hear a lot of people say. I've had many casting directors that I've worked with that have cast me in different projects, and one in particular, I had auditioned. I didn't get the role, but I ended up working crew on the project because I love the people involved, and so I was
Right.
working behind the scenes, and I happened to see the casting director walking by. I said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know I saw the actor that you picked for the role I auditioned for. Great choice." I said, "He was definitely a better choice than me." And she looked at me and she goes, "You're not mad?" And I said, "No, you do what's best for the project." And he was a better choice than I was for the project.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, you handled it better than a lot of other people.
Yeah, and that was pretty much what she told me too. Wow, I can't believe you saying that to me, but it's true. You want the project to be the best it can be. And so, could I hire somebody that I've worked with that I really believe in, but is not right for the role, or do I find the person that's right for the role? You get what's right.
Right.
So, are there anybody that in the industry that you would love to work with?
Yeah, there's a great many people. I would love an opportunity to work with Michael Caine. He is such an amazing actor. I've been watching him my whole life, and he's another one of those actors who I remember seeing an interview with him, and he was telling me, "I take everything." He says, "Whatever I see come by, because you never know when it's going to be your last." And he says, "You really want." He says, "I've always wanted to go out there and do as much work as possible." And I thought, wow, that's a really interesting point of view, because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I'll never do this, I'll never do that." He doesn't feel that way. I'd love an opportunity to work with him. I'd love an opportunity to work with The Rock. He seems like such a fun person to be on set with. I've heard nothing but good things. He was shooting something down in the Bay Area, and I had some friends who were on set with him and said he just made the whole project even better. He was just such an amazing person.
I think it was the earthquake movie. What's the earthquake?
There was a series that he was working
series.
on. I think it was for HBO. I can't remember the name of the series.
Oh, Young Rock.
No, but I did watch that. That was a funny show.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
it was a football show. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it's Ballers. I think
Ballers. That was it.
Ballers.
Yeah.
Ballers.
Okay. We filmed part of that in the Bay Area, and I had several friends that were on there, and they said he was just so amazing.
Awesome. Do you feel that the industry have evolved or devolved?
Can I say both?
You can break it down into categories too. I mean, if you want, sometimes it's easier.
Watching the industry over the last 7 years, especially, I'm watching the entire industry change. It's becoming more local, and where it used to be, it was very difficult to get into film. It's becoming a lot easier. Now, I don't mean that the projects are not as good or anything like that, but there's a lot more opportunities on a local level. So if you live in Los Angeles, where it used to be, that used to be where all the opportunities seem to be for film. If you're working in Salt Lake City, there are plenty of opportunities there. You're finding projects like The Chosen, that's working down in Texas, that has such a huge production down there. Lots of opportunities there. You go to Atlanta, where Tyler Perry's studio is becoming a monster studio down there. They've got tons of work there. You go to New Orleans, and there's plenty of work in New Orleans. It's becoming a lot more local than it used to be. And but on the other side of it, kind of funny, they were shooting Lady Bird here in Sacramento, where I am right now, and Greta Gerwig, who wrote and directed the film, wanted to shoot the film in Sacramento, and her producers wanted her to shoot it elsewhere. But the whole film was about Sacramento. And so they ended up shooting the majority of it in Canada, and they just came down to Sacramento to shoot the exterior shots. And it was like, how bizarre. You would think you would want the authenticity of Sacramento for a Sacramento-based film, but no.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of times you you hear about films in major American cities and they're being shot in Canada because they have a lot more opportunity to get money from the cities that they're filming in to have their productions based there. And anything that they can, do to defer the costs of a lot of the actors and a lot of the production, they're going to take it.
True that.
Yeah.
I know. In Portland, Oregon, several years ago, they had 3 or 4 shows shooting their series, and it was all because they had, matched money from the area, and
Right.
so it deferred some of those costs, and brought a lot of work to the area, and a lot of those actors up there were getting work that they previously would not necessarily have gotten. And I remember talking to one of the casting directors in the Portland area, and she said, "We're running out of actors. We don't have faces here that haven't been used. We're looking for people outside of the area now." And you would have thought that they would have been able to get people there, but all these people have been on all the shows, and they can't reuse them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so have you ever had a fast turnaround? Like basically, I was told that indie movies are slow, very, very slow. But as you get on to the big productions, they go real fast. Have you ever had like the had to do a fast turnaround?
I've had both. I've had indie films that there's one production that I was actually asked to be part of, and my schedule didn't permit it. But I have some friends who had been in it. They're going on 4 years, still waiting. That film isn't complete yet. It's been 4 years. Some of those people don't even look like that anymore, you know? And then I've had films where it's like, hey, we're shooting this weekend. Here are your lines. We're going to do a rehearsal tomorrow night, and we're going to film the next day. So, and sometimes you're doing pickup shots for projects that have already been completed, but they just needed something to fill the gap to go from one scene to another, and those are going to be quick, and you're going to find those more for studio shows, but yeah, they can be very quick. There was another friend of mine who he was telling me he got an audition and he almost turned it down. They wanted him to memorize 30 pages overnight. He's like, I can't do that. And he says, and then I looked at who the production was for, and he says, I'll be up all night because this is a major production. I didn't realize who it was for. And I don't think he slept. But he got the audition.
Man.
And I don't know if he got the role or not, but sometimes they are quick turnarounds. I remember when I was auditioning for Criminal Minds, I went down for the audition in Studio City, and they told me, do not turn off your phone after the audition because they're going to let you know within 60 minutes if you've got it, because they're going to be filming right away. So, it changes from one to another. I had another studio production that I was in. I had submitted for it, didn't hear from them for 4 months. And then I heard from them. They said, yeah, why don't you come down next month and we'll get you fitted. And then it'll be another week. And then we'll have you come back and we'll film. And it took a lot longer than I would have thought. So you never know.
Wow, that's the biggest thing I've ever known.
Yeah.
Because what about the industry that a lot of people don't know that you've learned along the way?
Well, one of my favorite acting teachers, who's now passed away, used to say all the time, and he got it from another actor, that if you want to be famous, be in film. If you want to be rich, be in television. But if you want to be good, you go to theater, and theater will make you good. And I really believe that. When I see an actor who says, "Well, I'm just trying to do commercials, or I just want to do television work," you're really you're hampering your own growth by not getting into theater and learning how that process works. And no matter what medium you're working in, if you're working in stage, you're working in theater, you're working in film, and even working, I'm gonna list it as a separate category, soap operas. They're all different, every one of them. And if you limit yourself to only one, I mean, how do you grow?
Right.
With soap operas, going back to your other point, do they go fast? Soap operas are probably the fastest of everything. They're shooting a whole episode in a day because they've got one to go tomorrow because it's an everyday show. They're on 5 days a week. And I remember talking to, I think it was casting director for, I want to say it was Days of Our Lives. And he said, look, if you come on this show as an extra in the background, but they really like working with you, they'll bring you back for another episode and they'll give you a supporting role. But you better know your stuff because you're going to get one take, 2 takes tops, and you're done. You're moving on to something else because they just don't have the time to waste on you if you don't know what you're doing. So that would probably be the fastest of all of them.
That's
So
crazy.
have you worked in theater, and how was that experience?
I've done a lot of theater over the years. Every one of them is different. I've had roles where one of my roles I came into, a good friend of mine was directing Little Women. And, most people have heard of Little Women. They've read the movie, they've seen the play. And it was kind of a last minute. They couldn't find somebody to play the role. And it was 1 or 2 scenes, nothing major. And getting onto that set, walking out there, and I was playing Mr. March, who was the father of the family. And the connection that I developed in such a short time with this cast, it was an amazing cast of people. I had never met any of them before and had this opportunity to work with this group and became so close so quickly. And you really, in every play that you work on, you become a family. And it really is an amazing experience that I can't really describe it well enough. But such an amazing experience, every single one of them. And, as I was saying earlier, I was in plays in high school. I'm still friends with these people. We still get together and we still talk about these productions that we were in because we are a family from that.
Right.
And, when you're walking out on that stage, I remember the first play that I did, I thought, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm going to be terrified. I'm going to forget all my lines. And then you walk out on that stage and you become that character and everything just slipped right into place. And I was there. I was that person. And it was such an amazing experience. And I did not have any of the fear or anything that I thought I was going to have. It was fantastic. And
That's awesome.
I was just in a production of Exit the Body in Folsom with that same director, as a matter of fact, with Rise Up Theater Company. And it was a play I'd never heard of before I auditioned for it. It was an amazing experience. Again, some of those folks I've worked with before, but the majority of them were brand new people to me. And what a fantastic group. And we were able to tell a funny story and enjoy it. And we made a lot of people laugh. It was a great experience.
That's awesome.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend theater. Okay. I'm on it.
So how do you hone your craft?
It's a lot of practice. I've worked with a lot of different teachers over the years. There's so many different ways to learn. So, there's a lot of people who really believe in method acting. I've taken classes with method. Method wasn't for me, but a lot of people say that's the only way to go. Well, that is for them. And then I have people that I've worked with that believe in other methods. And you kind of have to see what's out there and pick what works for you. And I don't pick one thing. I have a lot of different pieces that I put together that help me build my characters and help me do what I do. And it's been a journey. And there are acting teachers that I've worked with that I've developed an incredible respect for, and others that I would probably not work with again. And some people that I haven't worked with again, I love. It's just I've moved on from. I'm not. If anybody's listening that I've worked with you and I haven't worked with you for a while, doesn't mean I don't want to work with you again.
Don't worry, he ain't gonna hurt you. Don't worry, don't worry.
Yeah.
They got you.
I was working with this one acting teacher down in LA in her studio, and I was ready to move to a Shakespeare class. And the teacher had approached me in the lobby, and she said, "When are you coming to my class?" And it was a very well-known acting coach. And I said, "Well, I'm ready to go right now." And she said, "Great, I've got a spot for you right now." And I thought, "Great, this is fantastic." And then I thought, "Oh wow, wait, I've already paid for the Shakespeare class." I said, "Well, let me see. I've got to cancel with the Shakespeare class." She goes, "What are you doing going to somebody else's class instead of mine?" I said, "No, it's Shakespeare." She goes, "Oh yeah, I don't do Shakespeare." So everybody does something different. And so you want to be very well-rounded and get a little bit of everything. Here's this fantastic acting coach, but she admits, I don't do that. That's not what I do. I had another acting teacher that somebody had asked me, would I go to her? Would she be a good choice for an acting coach? I said, "Well, what are you looking for?" And he said, "Well, I don't know." And I said, "Well, if you are looking for this, then definitely go to her. But if you're looking for this over here, I have a guy that I would recommend for that, or a woman for this other, area of acting." And he went back and told this acting coach that I said not to go to her. And she called me up
Wow.
extremely annoyed. Wait a
Right.
minute. I did not tell him not to go to you. I said, "What are you looking for?" And I said, "Are you a method teacher?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Exactly." And I recommended a different person if he was interested in method. But
Right.
doing audition technique, you're the person I'm recommending. And I said, it had nothing to do with the fact that I didn't think you were any good. It's, I didn't think for this area that is something that you teach. And it's true. You admit it.
Right.
But, people, one acting teacher is not good for everything in acting.
Right.
And
Right.
if you are
So
interested in being an actor, you should be working with somebody just to keep the blood flowing, if you will, just to
mm,
keep those muscles moving.
I have a question from Gary L. Turner. Which do you prefer, stage, TV, or film?
Gary's a great guy. Love you, Gary. I really enjoy film the most. It's a great experience. I have worked in commercial. I've worked on stage. I've worked in series. Um, but film, just I've really enjoyed all my experiences there, and every one of them has been different. I ended up getting a role in a film called Bad President a few years ago, and I was actually playing a Sean Hannity from Fox News type of character, and it was basically based on my look.
Yeah, I can see
The
that. No offense, I
director had
can see
actually
that.
no, it's okay. Yeah. And the director had actually called my agent and said, "I want to book him. I don't need him to audition. I just want to book him." And I thought, what an amazing thing to have happen where just, looking at you, they're like, "That's the guy I want." And I ended up working with this guy, and it was a fantastic experience. And strangely enough, that was one of those quick turnarounds. And he had asked me, he sent me the script, and it was like 3 small scenes, which is great, fantastic. And then he called me about a day or two before, and he said, "Would you be all right if I made it 8 scenes?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "Not a problem. Just give me the script." And he said, "You're a news broadcaster. You don't need a script. It's all going to be on the teleprompter." I thought, well, that's
Well,
fantastic.
that's easy.
Everything worked that way. And so
So
I actually went down for the film, and they were doing all the news broadcasters on the same day from the same studio. And so the first guy had gone in, and he was doing his first scene, and I think it took him about an hour or so. And I'm just waiting with the producers. And then they brought in this other woman to play another news broadcaster, and she went down there, and she was there for about an hour. And then the first two needed to change clothes. They needed to get into a different outfit. And they said, look, is anybody ready? I said, well, I'm ready to go right now. And they said, well, we had you scheduled for later this afternoon. I said, I'm here. I'm ready. They said, sure, come on. I did all 8 scenes inside of about 25 minutes. And they said, this is the fastest we've ever gone through anybody. And I said, well, I was trained on teleprompter. A lot of these people have never used a teleprompter before. I'm not saying it's difficult, but when you're familiar with it and you can just get into that flow,
Right.
it really worked well. And the guy laughed because I can't believe we're getting you out of here so fast. I was done inside of 40 minutes, and that's with wardrobe changes.
Oh
And
man.
it was a lot of fun, and I love to work with those folks again. They were such a great group.
So Robert Parham said, "Will we see John Demakas as a writer or director as well as an actor?"
Well, I've definitely written. I've got one. It's a series pilot that I've got right now that's really ready to film. I've got half the cast picked already, and we're just trying to get crew together and get some dates and locations. So definitely writer. That's already happened. I've written and filmed some of my stuff already. I did a short film several years ago. My first writing gig that I filmed. It was a pilot episode for a show that I thought of called Getting Over was the name of it. It was about a pro wrestling organization, kind of small time. And I had written the first episode, and I have a second episode, but I don't think it's ever going to get filmed, which is a pity. It was a lot of fun. But the other show that I'm working on, it's called Fearless, and I wrote the script for that, and I've rewritten portions of it. We're trying to kind of iron that out. But yeah, definitely, I would love to direct that as well, because that one's probably the closest to my heart of everything that I've written. Possibly. But thanks for the question, Robert.
Right.
I'd love to
Okay,
work
so
with you again, by the way.
so there, Gary L. Turner said sequel to the wrestling short. Ha
Yeah,
ha
that
ha
was the one.
ha
He was in that.
ha.
I told him a long time ago, I got episode 2 already written. I don't know if it'll ever get filmed, but I'd love to do it. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
Oh man, so y'all filming wrestling now? Oh jeez.
Yeah.
It was a very different wrestling show, because what I ended up doing with it was the whole episode was about what happens behind the curtain, not out in the ring. And so the whole show was about a 12-minute episode. It was everything that happened in the back, and the show actually ends when you go through the curtain to go out to the ring.
Oh wow.
Because I thought there's more drama in the back than there was in the front.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I mean, hey, I mean maybe some of the big corporate, some of the big wrestling,
Yeah.
organizations could
Yeah, I would
use
love
that.
to do more of those. It was a lot of fun, and I was such a huge wrestling fan in the '80s, and they tell you right what you know. And so I knew so much about that when I decided to actually start writing a series, that was kind of a gimme. It was an easy write, and I had so much fun with it. The characters were like, I mean, they felt like they were part of my family. When I was finished writing it, I knew all of those people.
Oh man, yeah, man, I'm happy. I loved it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, where do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years from now doing acting and stage and all that stuff?
I hope that I don't get too far away from stage. I really do. It's a very different experience than the rest, and so much fun. And there's so many incredible scripts plays out there that I would love to be a part of. I years ago had done a version of Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap that was so much fun. I'd love to do that one again. I've never done a musical, and I'm hoping I've got a director that has already told me she's got some musicals coming up and would love to see me audition for one. I'd love to do that. Hopefully, I will be doing more down in LA. I'm looking. One of my goals is I would love to be a series regular on a television show. That's one of the goals I have. Whether or not that happens, we'll see. If it does, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. But I'm going to keep working at it. I'm going to keep putting myself out there. I enjoy every single project that I'm on, and all for different reasons. Sometimes it's the people, sometimes it's the role, sometimes it's the location. I recently did a shoot down in Carmel that kind of fell into my lap with a director that I'd worked with in the past, and she says, I've got this project. I would love for you to be a part of it. Are you interested? And it was one of those things. Of course, it was people that I loved working with, and it was a quick shoot, and they take you down to Carmel and put you up in a nice hotel or a nice room and looking out over this beautiful, beautiful background. It was amazing. And those experiences are fantastic. I worked on a Christian film a few years ago called They Don't Cast Shadows. And again, it was shot up in Placerville, and they said, "Hey, we're going to put you up at a hotel. We're gonna have a nice place for you to stay. We want you relaxed when you get to set." And again, another amazing experience, and it was with great people that I would love to work with again.
Awesome. Do you have anything else for the people?
I would just encourage you, if you are drawn to acting, to definitely give it a shot. I mean, if you don't try, you're never going to know. And it's such an incredible opportunity. You can. One acting teacher used to tell me, "There's a role for you from the day you're born till the day you die." They're always looking for different ages and different backgrounds and different looks. If you and some people say, "Oh, I have a handicap. Maybe I'm in a wheelchair." So there's a role for you. No matter what you look like, how you sound, what your height is or your weight, there's a role for you. But you do have to put yourself out there, and you do have to try to improve your abilities as well. Put yourself in an acting class. Go get involved with local theater. Get involved with sites like Casting Calls America, where you can find stuff in your area. I've heard so many people say, "Well, I'm in the middle of Kansas somewhere. There's no opportunities." Yes, there are. You have to look for them. They may not be the opportunity you want, but it may be exactly what you need to get you to move forward. And again, the sites that I work with, Casting Calls America, we're in over 30 cities nationwide. You can definitely find something near you, and you can get involved. You can get into film. You can get into television, reality shows, voiceovers, commercials. It's all out there. You just need to take the step.
Awesome. So, you have anything, Nakia? You have anything?
No, I would. That was my last question here, was to just learn more about your brand ambassadorship with your.
Yes.
One more. I mean, how do you feel about the other casting sites? What makes yours stand out? Meaning, like, there's backstage, actors access. What makes yours stand out?
Primarily the ability for you, if you are on our site, you have a profile on our site, and you aren't even a member currently. Okay, you have a profile up on our site, but you're not currently a member. If somebody is looking for an actor that you fit perfectly, they can go through our database of actors, and they can find you even if you're not a member. Okay. But you're registered on our site. and they find you, and they can ask you to audition for their role without you even being a member. But they're never going to find you if you're not up on our site.
Right.
Awesome.
That's different
Awesome.
than any other site that's out there. Nobody else has the ability to do that.
Oh, wow. So, thank y'all for watching.
Thank you for
it's been a awesome. Thank you for coming on the show, Mr. John, Brother John, the masochist, you know. And
Demakas, come on, get it right.
Demakas. See, I'm always butchering names. Don't you start with me. Hey, we got to get it right, damn it. So, and thank y'all for, thank y'all for tuning into the 82nd episode of the In Your Face show. Damn it.
That just tickles me every time.
And thank y'all for watching. We out of here. Peace.
Yep. Have a great week, everyone. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.